Yo, what's going on, everybody? Sorry, I'm running late. It is 3:03. I think this is probably the latest I've ever been. Sorry about that. I was putting final touches on today's Trivia Tuesday because it is Tuesday, November 10th, 2020. And then I just ran into a whole bunch of other technical difficulties. I know I've been having a lot. I apologize for that, guys. But I'm here now. And the subject of today's Trivia Tuesday is honoring Alex Trebec, who was a fixture in game shows and quiz shows for a very, very long time. And he unfortunately passed recently, as many of you guys knew already. And so I thought we're doing like a kind of a quiz show. It's Trivia Tuesday. So the questions are going to be about Alex Trebec. But first, I want to take a second to welcome everyone listening on the podcast version. Hope you're having a good run or drive home or work session. And anyone listening to this and watching this after the fact on YouTube. Now, let's welcome everyone that's here. Steve says, Alex, Potent Potables for 400. Potent Potables is one of my favorite categories. Just because I love alliteration and it's like such a weird combination of words. And fun fact, the reason that I knew what Potent Potables was not from watching Jeopardy, but it was from playing a video game version of Jeopardy. Because at the time, this would have been, I don't know, this would have been like maybe the 90s. I can't remember if it was a computer game that was sold on like 5 1/4 floppies, or if it was like a Nintendo game. It might have been a Nintendo game, but I had a video game, like a Nintendo, like original Nintendo, the one with just the 2 buttons, B and A. And I remember having a Jeopardy game, and this Potent Potables category kept coming up, and I had to look up what the words meant, and I still didn't understand it. And then like later on, I understand, oh, they mean like alcohol. So, weird fun fact. Roadrunner Reviews is here. It says, hi, everyone. Christian Schobringer says, shout out to Capuzzi. He makes running great again. Funny. Thank you. And then Chris Yao says, make Miami dry again. Chris, I know you're you've been inundated by the last Hurricane Eta. Hopefully you're doing okay. Martha's here as well. She says, hi to everyone else who's heading out. Yeah. Stevie76 also here. And it says, hi, Kafuzi and everyone, just back from mountain biking, sharing the trails with a big fat badger running along tonight. Whoa. When I think of badger now, though, I think of like those honey badger videos, the ones where that dude like narrated the honey badger like fighting all sorts of other animals. So I can't help but think of that. But that's weird. Were the dogs? I mean, I guess if you were mountain biking, the dogs probably weren't with you, but I can't imagine like the dog, like Pip or any dog, really appreciating a honey badger tagging along for the trip. Barry Batsback says, I'm in doubt. My favorite shoe, Zoomfly Flyknit. Should endorphin speed be a good way? Is the endorphin speed a good one for you? Yeah, I think you'll definitely like it. I don't know if it's actually lighter, but I think it's going to feel a little bit lighter for you. But, you know, the carbon plate in the or the nylon plate in the Speed isn't going to feel as springy as the carbon in the Zoomfly, but I think the Endorphin Pro is going to feel much stiffer than the Zoomfly Flyknit. So like I would say it probably fits in between the Endorphin Pro and the Endorphin Speed. I would probably direct you more towards the Endorphin Speed, but I would also seriously look at the Fuel Cell TC. I feel like that's the closest one to that shoe. Martha says, Lev just cut my hair and I lost a pound. Awesome. Yesterday I was FaceTiming my sister, and she absolutely detests what's going on, like with my whole like pandemic look. And so she was like, why don't you just get a bowl and give yourself a bowl cut? And I think she was kind of serious, but I also think that one, she thinks that she would rather see me with like an actual literal bowl cut than what I've got going now. And number two, she also knows me very well and knows that I think bowl cuts are very funny, and am actually rather inclined to try it out. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Martha says Trivia Tuesday is my favorite. I hope I do it justice because I feel like I kind of rushed getting some of these. And so, because I started out writing a lot of Jeopardy questions, like questions, like trivia questions about Jeopardy. And so I was like, no, I mean, the two are intertwined, but, I wanted it to be more about his life. And I felt like there's probably a lot of trivia there, things that people didn't know. Drinking some coffee today. I did have some. I finished the rest of the sleeve, the other 3 pieces of the black cherry, thinking maybe today of these Cliff Blocks. I finished the black cherry today, thinking that maybe on a new day, I won't get the aftertaste. I got the aftertaste again, so I just don't like that black cherry. But I typically don't like black cherry flavored food. I love cherries. I love real cherries. I especially love dried cherries. Do you guys ever eat dried cherries? They are so good. But black cherry flavored stuff like gels, gummies, desserts, like I usually just don't like them. So I'm probably just very biased. Daniel M says, our U.S. House candidate, Republican U.S. House candidate, I thought he was saying our, but our Republican U.S. House candidate, Dean Browning, just got caught for having a fake Twitter account by posting to his verified account. That's really funny. And really bizarre. Very sad. And he says, and it's hilarious. Yeah, that is hilarious. I woke up this morning and I was looking at Twitter again today, and which I think that I just do need to kind of like chill from Twitter for a little bit. But I was looking at Twitter today and everyone was posting about Four Seasons, like, what is it, like landscaping and towing or whatever. And I was like, what are people talking about? So I had to like look it up and I was like, oh, that's what happened. And I was like, that's pretty funny. And then I remembered that Room Raider earlier in the day had posted, or like the day before, I don't know if it was before or after I'm guessing it was after the press conference, the crazy show that was there. But like that press conference had posted a picture of just like that garage door and like did like a Room Raider thing on it. Do you guys follow Room Raider? RATER? I think it's pretty funny. And like, I just didn't know what they were doing with it. I was like, why are they rating like a garage door and what? I didn't get it. And then like it all kind of like clicked in my mind. I was a little slow on the uptake, but I finally got it. I didn't know about this Dean Browning thing, but that's funny. Yeah, I mean, you got to keep them straight. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Jeff Elliott says, I was just reading that. Yeah, Tab Hunter says, evening guys, you have to love Agent Kofuzi's timekeeping. Yeah, I'm not doing so great with the timekeeping. I'm trying. Normally I feel like I've been oh no. Sorry. I just knocked out this. All right. I feel like I've been pretty good for a while, but then like today, definitely the time just got away from me. Steve Graziano says, I needs a Phobie or whatever those things were called. You know what? At the beginning of the pandemic, like in March, Flobies were very hard to come by. On the website, they were back ordered for like several months. I wonder if I could get one now. That's something. I mean, I've wanted a Flobie for a long time. I had when I was maybe like in the 5th grade or so, 6th grade, I don't like getting haircuts. I've always had a bad luck with haircuts. So one of the things that I wished I could do was I wished I could have micro robots that basically lived in my hair like lice and would just come out and periodically come down and like trim some of the hair and then go back and like go back underneath like the hairline or whatever. So that way I would just always have like a haircut that looked normal instead of like, oh, look, hey, look, you got a haircut. It looks so weird. I just felt like I always had terrible haircuts. And so I was just like, if there could be a way that I could just automatically have the same length hair all the time, I would love that. And I just like, I longed for a Flobie for a really long time. And then like towards like high school, I did give myself my own haircuts. We all gave each other haircuts all the time. I feel like every Asian kid that grew up in the 90s. Him and their friends all gave each other haircuts. Or maybe that's just me. But that's what, like, everyone I knew, like, we all did each other's haircuts. But, or we did our own haircuts. And then I went to college and I started getting, like, regular haircuts, I think. And then I just started getting regular haircuts for a while after that. And I still just don't like getting haircuts. So, like, every time I go, they're like, what do you want? I'm like, well, it's really long right now. It's been like 2 months since I had a haircut. But I want basically a trim, but make it a long trim because I haven't been to the haircut place in a long time. So it's a very long story about haircuts. But yeah, maybe I need to check. I'll do another check on Flowbees. I've been really wanting to do, I would love to do like the full B-roll workup, like Brett, what is he saying? Stevie 76 is saying, like, I want to do the full workup of a Flowbee. That's been something that's been on my mind. Not only just, even before the pandemic, just because I just don't like getting haircuts. It just seems like a waste of time. But clearly it's needed. But yeah, maybe I'll check on the Flowbees again. All right. Scotty B says, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Scotty B says he says the snow is starting. I saw it somewhere. What is going on? I don't know what's going on here. What? That's the wrong camera. That's the web. That's from my webcam. That's my camera. I don't know what's going on. So one of the things you might notice today, I got my like Kofuzi logo back because I started paying for this service. So I figured I'll do that. I didn't realize it, but there's like a 20-hour max on it, and so yeah, I was like 19 hours and 45 minutes, and I still had like another week till like my month reset. So I was like, I'll just buy it. I'll just buy it. So it's $25 a month. It seems kind of expensive, but I've been liking it, so I think it's worth it. Yeah. All right. And I said I wanted a mountain biking. He said, no dog, just a big Scottish badger wondering who was on his trails. That sounds scary. I don't know if that's scary. Yeah. Shannon says, go visit your style fits you and your personality and lifestyle so well. Families can be so blunt and opinionated. My sister has always had very strong opinions on my appearance, and they've never been complimentary. She's always just been like that, and it's coming from a very good place. And what's funny though now is like the older she gets, the more like cranky old Asian lady she's becoming, which I think is kind of funny. If I said that to her, she'd probably get really mad. But then I think that would only make her even more vocal about critiquing my appearance. Tom Anderson says you got to commit to the bowl cut. I don't know. I don't know if I could do the bowl cut. Maybe if I was gonna like as a stop along the way to another haircut, maybe I would do the bowl cut. But if I did it, I would do it real short, like a super short, like Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber bowl cut first, and then maybe do like Jamie Lester saying, get a mullet. But here's the thing, I feel like I've always wanted to have a mohawk, and I always thought that if I had a son, that we would get matching mohawks like when they were young, like maybe like the baby's age, like 3 or 4 years old. Because I'm like, it's not like the kid's got to get a job, right, or be presentable. The 3-year-old can have a mohawk, and I think it's awesome. And I feel like you should have a matching one. But I feel like if I got a mullet or a mohawk now, I'm like, well, Billy Yang has a like mulletish mohawk, and I'm like, someone asked like the question about like representation, of runners, of Asian runners. And I'm like, that's like a representation of Asian runners is one thing. But if like two of like, not the only, but 2 Asian running YouTubers both have mohawks, and that's too many. You can't, there's too many at one time. I think I told you guys the story. When I was in Atlanta, I was walking around not downtown, but in the area of the finish line of the Olympic marathon trials. And, a lot of people were like recognizing me. And so it was really nice and very flattering. And then, and I was seeing a lot of people too, I was like, oh, that's Jenny Simpson. She's over there. Or I think that was Jenny Simpson. I'm not sure, and then I was just seeing like lots of people that I recognize from Instagram, from podcasts, from YouTube videos. And it was amazing. And at one point I'm like about to cross the street and this like group of younger kids, they were maybe like in high school. One of the kids goes, yo. And I'm like, yo. And he's like, Billy Yang. And I was like, nope. But, I'm very flattered. He's like, sorry, you're not Billy Yang. You're the other one. I'm like, yep. And I was like, I'm sure that I could easily done the same thing. In the kid's defense, though, he probably did. Someone else in his group probably did see Billy Yang because he was in town too. So like, it's a good guess. But I don't think for that reason that I can get a mullet or a mohawk at this time. I mean, if he grows his hair out and gets like a different haircut, then maybe I could try it. I don't know what's going on. My camera is not doing anything. All I'm doing is like unplug, like just hitting this button. It's those bots. They've infiltrated. All right, let's do one running question, and then we'll get to the trivia for today. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of copy pasting because, again, I'm running late. Kirk Jong asks, have favorites for long, slow runs? I only get out once a week and do 30K using React Infinities. Great shoe for me, but curious to try others. Have 500K on them. Slow, 6 to 630, assuming 6 to 630 per kilometer. Once a week and you do a 30 and you bang out a 30K? Wow, you must be really aerobically strong. Let's see. If you would like the Infinity React, I would highly recommend the New Balance 1080 version 10. I think that those two shoes are like very similar in approach in terms of a lot of cushioning, nice wide platform on the bottom for a nice stable landing, but a bouncy midsole. And it feels like it could absorb a lot of impact, but also keep you moving. So that's the one that I would probably look at. Trying to think, my favorite for like a long, slow run right now would probably be, if I didn't think it would hurt my knee right now, it would probably be the Triumph 18 or the Triumph 17. That one's also super fun. And another one that I'd recommend for you, Kirk. But because I'm a little bit worried that it might hurt my knee right now with my runner's knee situation, I would probably reach for Clifton 7. I'm a little bit smaller, and so I feel like the Bondi is a little bit too heavy for me. It's nice. I get it, but it's not my favorite. I think I understand it, but it's just not my favorite for me. The Clifton 7 is something I enjoy much more. All right. With that, let's get to our first answer. I'm going to do this. I've tried to do it in, what's it called? In Jeopardy format, where I'll give you the answer and you got to give me it in a question. Sound good? All right. Answer number 1. All right. There you go. All right. Here's the first answer. In 2018, Alex Trebec was a moderator for a political debate in this state's gubernatorial election. And the main reason I picked this fact is because I love the word gubernatorial. It makes no sense. And I love it. All right. Let's see. CV76 got his hand on the buzzer, he says. Sean Martin says, I'm on a 3-show rotation, shoe rotation. Pegs for short and fast, Freedoms for middle and intervals, and Clifton for long and slow. Yeah, there we go. That makes sense to me. All right, so we've got some answers coming in as well. Jeff Elliott says California. Stevie76 says, what is Alaska? And that is the correct format that I'm looking for. And Bert Leguez says, what is the answer? Funny. JC says, what is California? Reed Morris coming in with Arkansas. Mark Shankogo says, Canada. Canada is provinces, right? What is it called there in Canada? I don't know. This is my ignorance of my neighbors to the north. Yeah, I don't know. Do they have governors? Or are they... It's not like magistrates or something weird, right? Sharma said, what is Iowa, Nevada, Ohio, what is California? Now, the first person with the right answer is Martha. What's Pennsylvania? Which is weird because it was just 2018, right? So like that wasn't that long ago. And I'm like, is it still the same governor? It might even be. But apparently it was a disaster. And he like according to I got all these from the Wikipedia page. So like don't look at the Wikipedia page. Otherwise you're going to just be able to find all the answers, and that won't be fun for you or anyone else. But on the Wikipedia page, it's like he mentioned that he was going to do it like his own way and put his own spin on it. He talked for 41% of the time, and had to apologize afterwards for saying like, I didn't really understand this format or what people wanted from me. So I thought that was like absolutely amazing. All right, cool. All right, let's get to answer number 2. All right, now this one, if you know the answer to this one, then you are a true like Alex Trebec super fan, or you're a super fan of this show. So here's the answer. When he played the voice of Alan Quebec in this animated show, it was one of the rare times that Alex Trebec did not play himself. Although he was kind of playing himself because he was playing the host of a quiz show. But for whatever reason, on this animated show, he played the voice of the character of Alan Quebec. Let's see what we got for some answers down here. Yeah, Roadrunner Reviews is saying, if your wife is cool with the mohawk, go for it. I mean, I've always wanted a mohawk. I'm like, when else will I be able to get one? But here's my other thing. Like, I just turned 41. And I'm like, can you be 41 and have a mohawk? Or does it just get sad at that point? I'm leaning towards it gets kind of sad. All right, we have Stevie76 says, what is The Shining? No, it's got to be an animated show. Daniel M says, what is The Simpsons? That's a good guess. But he played himself on The Simpsons, and he was on it twice. I didn't realize he was on it twice, but according to Wikipedia, he was. Tab Hunter says, what is SpongeBob? That's close. That's a really, really good guess. Lewis says, I was more of a Price is Right guy. I loved Price is Right, but here's what made me mad about Price is Right. I used to watch Price is Right all the time, and I think it was like, I'm trying to think of why I watched Price is Right all the time. And I think it was because of like summers maybe, and like winter and like spring vacations and stuff when we didn't go stuff because my parents worked. I think I just watched a lot of TV. And so, or maybe any days when I was sick, but I would always get mad because it would be like, guess the price of this dishwashing detergent. And it'd be like, a regular size bottle of like, Dawn or Ajax liquid soap. And it'd be like, what's the price? And I'm like, that's easy. That's $1. I'm like, I'm looking at the circular right now. Like I'm looking at the Sunday paper circular. It says it's $1. And it'd be like, oh no, it was $4.95. And I'm like, what? In what world are you paying $4.95 for a bottle of dishwashing detergent? That would always make me mad about that show. Or like, it'd be like, look at this, it'd be like, 1995. Look at 1995 Ford Escort. What's the price? And I'm like, it's like a $9,000 car. And it'd be like $17,999. I'm like, what? Where are you paying $17,999 and $1,995 for a Ford Escort or whatever, So anyway, that was my thing. Michael Ryan says, what is Futurama? No, but that's close. What is Family Guy? No, I mean, I guess it's not that close when you guys see the answer or the question. But the question to the answer of when he played the voice of Alan Quebec in this animated show, it was one of the rare times he didn't play himself. The correct question is, what is Rugrats? Do you guys remember that cartoon, Rugrats? That's an old one. That one goes back. But I don't know why. Like, I wonder if there was like a licensing issue or something like that. And that's why they couldn't do it. But it just seems like he's played himself as the host of Jeopardy, the show. Or maybe he's playing himself as the host of a quiz show, like an unnamed quiz show. But it just, I don't know. But for whatever reason, and I don't think it was the only time, but for the vast majority of times when you see him on TV, or he was even in a Delta, like pre-flight, like, here are the exits, keep the aisleways clear, that kind of thing. He was in one of those videos. He's always been like himself. So it's just, I thought it was a really fun, weird question to have. Anna says, this quiz is making no sense to me at all. And do you not watch Jeopardy? I wonder if I thought Jeopardy was like a global thing. Is it not? I mean, how ethnocentric is that? Thinking that it was. Yeah. Scott Stroll said, my kids love Rugrats. I did not enjoy it as much. I was at a weird age for Rugrats. My sister, who is like 5.5, 6 years younger than me, she was the exact right age for it. So I was a little on the older side. And Spence says Doug was my jam, and Doug was definitely my jam. His dog's name was Pork Chop. What a great name for a dog. I don't know why it's a great name for a dog. It's kind of a gross name for a dog because I don't know, but I just thought that was a good name for the dog. Yeah. Brett Reed says we need a Rugrats Tribute Tuesday. I think that's a good idea. I think that's a great idea. There's lots of places you can go with that. Grat Mott said there's no UK Jeopardy. Oh. All right. Oh, and it says Jeopardy is very much a US thing. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, Tab Hunter says not here in the UK, but you're all educating us. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to be an intentionally exclusive. Yeah, Shauna Marsh says, "What is Angelica?" That's funny. Yeah, Frank says you guys are too young. I don't think these shows came out till I was like a senior in high school. Yeah, I don't think that you're that far. We're that far off then. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so Ines, Martha's saying, just for fun, try to find Jeopardy on YouTube, see how it works. You get used to the reverse format. It's a lot of fun to guess the answers at home. The first question that I wrote for today's quiz was, it was like something about like why Jeopardy does it that way, where they give you the answer and you're supposed to like buzz in with the question that prompt is the answer for. And according to Wikipedia, and I've found it on different what is it, Quora or other places where people just like ask questions to the internet. Multiple sources have said that Merv Griffin and his wife invented the show for. Well, they didn't. It existed before, but they thought that this might be a good format for this show because at the time, I think it was in the 60s, there was the quiz show scandal where people were being given the answers to all these trivia questions. And so they were making it so that way the quiz shows would be more dramatic and interesting, but it wasn't a true reflection of who actually knew the trivia answers. And so everyone was like, you can't do quiz shows anymore because America doesn't believe in them anymore. And so they were like, well, how do we do this quiz show format in a way that people will trust? And so they were like, let's flip it around. We'll give people the answer. We'll give people answers. If people are assuming that all the contestants have been given the answers, let's give them the answers, but they have to figure out what's the question. And so I was like, that was the idea. I don't know how that really moves the ball in terms of do I trust this quiz show or not? But I think it's a pretty interesting idea. And remember there was a movie, was it called Quiz Show? I never saw that one, but I remember people being people treated that movie kind of like the way that people are treating Social Dilemma, that documentary, about the dark side of media and how they're manipulating you kind of thing. So I might have to go back and watch that one. Yeah, Scott Stroh says it became a movie called Quiz Show. Martha says, when I was growing up in the 60s, my family used to watch the College Bowl. Anyone remember that trivia show? I'm not familiar with that. Louis Bisser loves Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, that's a good one too. And we watched that. It's been on the TV here from time to time. My daughter, who is 8, enjoys it right now, and so it's fun to kind of watch it with her. Yeah. Not really. Hank Aaron says media has a dark side. That's funny. All right, let's get to the next answer here. And I think we kind of mentioned this guy already, but let me copy and paste and get it in here. Sorry for kind of being cumbersome with it today. So here is the answer. When Alex Trebek won the Guinness record for most episodes hosted of a game show, he overtook this other famous TV personality. So basically, who was the guy that used to have the Guinness record for it, but he apparently has it now. Does that make sense? So when Alex Trebek won the Guinness record for most episodes hosted of a game show, he overtook this other famous TV personality. Stevie76 says, who is Kofuzi? No, not me. But I think that would be fun. You know what I think is really fascinating is like this recent series of like game show reboots that's happening. So there's Press Your Luck, Who Wants to Be, no, Weakest Link. And then there's the one that the Baldwin guy is doing, the one where like the 6 celebrities are up there. And then there's the one that what's his name? He was on Community and all sorts of. He had that News show where it's like the game with the cards, and you have to guess higher or low. It's like a high-low game. So there's all these different like different game show reboots, and I think most of them are pretty terrible, except for Weakest Link. That reboot is actually really, really nice. But I'm not a big fan of all these reboots. But what's funny is like some of them are clearly like enjoying themselves, and because they're like pretty famous celebrities that are hosting these shows now. But some of them are like, I'm a really famous celebrity. I don't need to be hosting the show, but here's where I am. So it's kind of funny. Oh yeah, Joel McHale, Sean. Thanks. Joel McHale. Like he's actually like doing a really nice job of like threading the needle of like, I really shouldn't have to be hosting a TV game show, but I'm going to dive in and just kind of enjoy my time here. But I think the lady that does Press Your Luck, I feel like she's miserable the entire time she's there. All right. So let's see. Ross W says, who is Joel McHale? No. Scott Schruel saying Ellen Game of Games makes us LOL. That is a fun one. I do really enjoy that one. All right, let's see. Larry Lawrence says, who is Gene Rayburn? I don't know who that is. Yeah. Tab Hunter says, who is Ted Rogers? I don't know who that is either. Richard Dawson? No. Wink Martindale? That's a good guess. That's a really good guess, but that's not it. Pat Sajak is not it either. Also a really good guess. But Brian Nee has the right one. Who is Bob Barker? Oh, I think Daniel M had it first. Who is Bob Barker? Yeah. So that's pretty amazing. Really cool. Yeah, I don't know who some of these other people are. Mark Shanko says Family Feud is my favorite. That's another show that I used to watch all the time when I was a lot younger. Price is Right, Family Feud. The reboot on that one, I'm not a huge fan of it. I just don't. It doesn't have the same like energy to it. I don't know why. It just doesn't strike me in the same way that it used to. But I remember I used to get really fired up like the final round when it's like the first one was easy, right? Because the first person gets to answer all the questions, but the second person has to answer the same questions and not repeat answers. I would always be just like yelling at the TV like the answers that I thought. I used to get pretty fired up for Family Feud. That's a really weird sentence to say. Scotty B says, I enjoyed watching Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader with my kids who are 10 and 12. There are some questions that make you second guess. That's a fun one. I do enjoy that one. Yeah. I think the reruns for that show are still on. Yeah. Something's going on. By the way, today, it's been storming all day, and weird fact about the internet around here, when it gets really cloudy or storms, the internet kind of like gets sporadic. I don't know how to explain that, but it happens. But it looks like we're here. And it says, there used to be a UK game show called Bullseye about darts. The main prize was quite often a speedboat. Really? Oh, funny. Very funny. So let's see what you would have won, they would say to the loser. Yeah, that's amazing. That's like, what's the one where it's like, do you want to keep what's in door number one, or do you want to go with door number 3? Like that. What was that one? Those are kind of the same thing. Was it? That was when they wore all these. That show's on now again too, isn't there? I don't know. Ross W says Family Feud used to have some A+ bloopers / Freudian slips. I mean, that's what you watched it for. That was funny, right? It was kind of like, what's grandma going to say now? That was always kind of funny. All right, Dylan Knapp has an actual running question. He says, what's the best running shoe in the market for everyday use? Best all-around running shoe? I would have to say, I really like the Nova Blast a lot. The Peg 37 is also, I think, a really good all-around shoe. Those are probably two. I still haven't tried the Beacon 3, but I suspect that I'll eventually get to it. There's not a lot of time left in 2020, but I'm going to get to that one. I suspect that that's going to be like number 2 or number 3 on my list, like those 3. Those are the ones that I like. Yeah. All right. Oh, Richard Dawson hosted Family Feud. Okay, thanks, Jason. Yeah, that was a good one. You know what I love is the like the pencil thin microphones. They're like this, and they just hold them out like this. Alex Trebec has that on the one he's doing. Not Alex Trebec. That was a weird Freudian slip, or just slip. What's his name? Alec Baldwin. The one that he does. Like he has got that like extra long, like super pencil thin microphone. I think that's pretty funny. I love those. All right, let's get to the next question. Or next answer. All right. So people really loved Alex Trebek, clearly. And one year, in May 2016, let's see, that's weird. There we go. In May 2016, he was given the key to this city. What city was it? He was given the key to this city in May of 2016. I know these aren't exactly, well, I mean, sometimes Jeopardy answers are kind of in that format. I know it's not the cleanest, but yeah. Dylan wants to know, what about the Nike Zoom Tempo thing with the airbags in it? I think that I haven't tried those shoes, but from the people who have, I've watched different reviews, and from what I suspected from the way it was like described, it's not really an everyday shoe. It's more of a faster day shoe. So depending on kind of like what your overall regiment looks like, if you're doing a lot of gym days and then like you run a couple times a week, but those couple times a week you're going after it, then it might be one that you can wear every time. But if you're running like 4 or 5 times a week, that's not probably the shoe that I would pick for you. Ross W says, what is Guttenberg? Yeah, I love the local reference. Brett Reed says New Vienna. No, not New Vienna. Daniel M says Trebec. Wasn't Trebec Canadian? He was. And so that's a good hint. Getting closer. Daniel M says, what was Toronto? And Sean Marshall also coming in with what is Toronto? Not it. Mark and Coco also. Toronto, yeah, Chris Yao, New Vienna, lots of votes for New Vienna. Awesome. That's so funny. Martha says, what is Los Angeles? That's not it either. Let's see. Another vote for Los Angeles. That's not it. But that does make sense, because isn't that where it was filmed, in Los Angeles? It doesn't say that at the beginning of every episode? Like the announcer? Anyway, not really. Hank Aaron says the Vatican. No, it won't be the Vatican, because going back to the first answer, which was the Pennsylvania gubernatorial debate, apparently he went after each of the candidates really hard about like Catholic priest abuse questions, and I guess that pissed off a lot of people for some reason. So I'm guessing that probably also pissed off the Vatican. But weird fact there. So let's see if anyone got it. Martha came really well. I think Martha's got it. I'm gonna say Martha got it, because she said to Daniel's question that wasn't he Canadian. It could be Ottawa. And so what is Ottawa? That is correct. Ottawa. He has the key to the city of Ottawa. Isn't there a Simpsons is it a Simpsons episode or a Futurama episode? I think it's a Futurama episode, where it's Fry wants to know what's inside the key to a city. And he's like, I thought there was chocolate inside. Isn't that right? Or did I get that wrong? But yeah, like I wonder, like I suppose like if one has a mantle, that's where one would put a key if one received a key to a city. Or do you think it's like something that you're like, thanks, and then you give it back so that way they can present the key to someone else if they want to present someone else the key to the city. I don't know. Like, I wonder if that's in his house somewhere. I want a key to a city. All right. Last question. Well, question number 5, and then we'll do a bonus. But question number 5. Here we go. Or answer number 5. This one's weird. I don't think anyone's going to get this unless you've been on the Wikipedia page. But in 2019, Alex Trebec received the Americanism Award from this organization. Which organization was it? This one's like weird. Yeah, Martha says we need Jeopardy music. You know, the Jeopardy music is exactly 30 seconds long, and that's how it was designed. So that way, the contestants would have exactly 30 seconds to answer a question and no more, no less. So they wrote the jingle so it would be exactly 30 seconds. Ross W says there is no Daily Double. I guess this could be the Daily Double because the bonus question will be, I guess, like Final Jeopardy, right? So I'll call it Final Jeopardy. Daniel M says American Association of Realtors. You're on the, like, it's not anywhere close to the answer, but like kind of an obscure organization. That's like you're in the right track. Mensa, that's a really good guess, Chris, but it's not Mensa. Specific says, what is Dairy Queen? No, it's not Dairy Queen, but that's pretty funny. American Bar Association, not it. Martha says, what are the Emmys? He does have daytime Emmys, right? I think he has daytime Emmys. Yeah. Sean Marshall says, what is Department of Education? I guess that's kind of close too. The correct question is, who are the Daughters of the American Revolution? I guess maybe that's not really close to any of the answers that are out there. But I just feel like that's a really weird way to go, right? Or what is the Dead Poet Society? Reed Moore says. But an Americanism Award to a Native Canadian, like can you imagine that? Like if you're in like Alex Trebek, I'm assuming he has like an office at home or a room that has a mantle with all the awards. Can you imagine there's like a trophy that like pick someone, like if you're going through his house and you're like, what's this one? Americanism Award. And then like you look at on the bottom, Daughters of the American Revolution. Like, why would the Daughters of the American Revolution, I guess I just assumed, I've never been to a Daughters of the American Revolution meeting or have ever bothered to figure out what they're about. But I always kind of assumed that there was like a feminism aspect to it. But maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm wrong. Sorry, it just got really dark. So I'm gonna see if I can brighten this up a little bit. Yeah. All right. So here's the final Jeopardy question. Frank Hillier leading me right into Final Jeopardy. Says he did have the U.S. citizenship though, right? The Final Jeopardy is sorry, so anticlimactic when I have to do all this copy pasting. Is here we go. The year he became a naturalized citizen. That's the Final Jeopardy. The year he became a naturalized citizen. I know, like, that's not really how the Final Jeopardy answers are written. But they would have been better if I had a little bit more, if I'd spent more. I gave myself like 2 days to figure this out. But I guess I'm asking what year did he get his citizenship? Martha's helping us out with the 30 seconds of Jeopardy music, which I remember being taught, like, you know how now they're like telling kids, and I guess adults too, like wash your hands and sing the happy birthday song, because then you'll have washed them enough. I remember being taught sing the Jeopardy song, and that's how you'll know you've washed your hands enough. I don't know if lots of other people had that too, or maybe just me. Stephen Gerzer says, I bet 10,000. Yeah, put in how much you're betting. How many points? Because we're not doing money and points. It could just be random imaginary points, because there's no points, there's no prizes. But Raymore says, when is 1492? Franklin Hillier, 2017, thinking that it was pretty recent. But I guess keep in mind, he did get the Americanism Award in 2019. So I guess 2017 would still fit. Because with the Daughters of an American Revolution, I'm not familiar with the other recipients of the award. I'm just fascinated by this award. But I wonder what like, would they give that to someone who's not a U.S. citizen? That would seem off. Scott Struhl says, "What is 1980?" It's a little on the early side. JC coming again with Potent Potables. I love it. David Lidstone says 2020. Brian Nee, when is 1984? Heavy Set Go in 1986. Yeah, says 5,000 Cliff Box. Yeah, that's his bet. 5,000 Cliff Box. Brett Reed betting 26.2. He says 1993. I think that's the closest we've gotten so far. Tap Hunter says, "You're not keeping score." I never keep score. I'm bad at it. I'm bad at mental math. Remember, I think we've all kind of seen me do that before. Yeah, Jason Dahl. What is We Love You, Alex, for 1995? That was a cool one. That was a really cool one. That's a boss answer to give when that guy did that. Reed Moore says, "Pushes all the chips to the center of the table. Just don't splash the pot." Yeah. Keepification says, "This is a lie. He's got 10 million points or 10 billion points from last week." You do have whatever unlimited points because you got it. You got it right. You will be like basically every week's winner from now on because you did get that one right. Mike Reyes says, "What's up, bruh? I like the style of your channel. Keep up the good work." Thanks, Michael. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. And it says, "When this is done, I'm definitely looking up YouTube." I think you should look up regular Jeopardy first and then look up Saturday Night Live Jeopardy. But do it in that order. Because then if you watch like the Saturday Night Live Jeopardy first, that's going to make it hard to watch like regular Jeopardy. But some of the Saturday Night Live Jeopardy that's probably the best tribute to the show and to Alex Trebek as well. All right. So Arnold says, "What is 1995? Wagers all of it." I think that's the closest we got. The answer that I have is what is or when was 1998. So he was a U.S. citizen for 22 years. Very cool. Very cool. Well, thanks everybody for participating in the Trivia Tuesday for today, the Alex Trebek edition to Trivia Tuesday. It's going to be weird, not seeing him on TV. It's going to be weird when someone else takes over. I was watching an interview that I think it was ABC did with him. Good Morning America, maybe. And they were talking about who the next host is going to be. And that's going to be, I think it's exciting. It's exciting. Yeah. Spence Ohm says, "You must watch Sean Connery on Saturday Night Live Jeopardy. It's funny, like a big hat." Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, because we just lost Sean Connery as well. Dr. Jones Sr. Yeah. That's my favorite role of Sean Connery's. But maybe we'll have to have next week. We'll do a Sean Connery Trivia Tuesday. I don't want to make it morbid, and it's like every Trivia Tuesday is about people that we've recently lost, because that'll be depressing. But maybe next week we'll do Sean Connery, and then we got to do a Rugrats edition. So yeah, Scott Stroll says, "Thanks for playing. Thanks for playing, everyone, for sure." I had a good time today. Thank you for playing along, and I had a great time. Tomorrow's video is going to be about the Rocket X. I finally got them. I finally got a chance to run in them. It was messy out there, conditions out there, super windy, raining, pouring the entire time, but I got a little bit of a workout in, so I'll have some thoughts on the Rocket X. And then we'll just have a regular live stream in the afternoon, same time, 3 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you guys here again tomorrow. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.